Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari.
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari.
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari.
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam namaskritya
Naram chaiva narottamam
Naram chaiva narottamam
Devim saraswatim vyasam
Devim saraswati vyasam
Tato jayam udiraye
Tato jayam udiraye
Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu avadreshu
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
Bhagavate ruttama shloke
Bhagavati uttama shloke
Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki.
Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki.
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10. Maharaj Raghugana meets Jada Bharat, Shloka number 18. Tadbruhi asango jadavan niguda Vijnana viryo vicharasya paraha Vachamsi yoga grahitani sadho Nana kshamante manasapi bettum Tadbruhya sango jadavan niguda Vijnana viryo vicharasya paraha Vachamsi yoga grahitani sadho Nana kshamante manasapi bettum Tadbruhya sango jadavan niguda Vijnana viryo vacharasya paraha Vachamsi yoga grahitani sadho Nana kshamante manasapi bettum Tadbruhya sango jadavan niguda Vijnana viryo vicharasya paraha Vachamsi yoga grahitani sadho Nana shamante manasapi bettum Tadbruhya sango jadavan niguda Vijnana viryo vicharasya paraha Vachamsi yoga grahitani sadho Nashamante manasapi bettum. Okay, so what word meaning? Tat, therefore. Bruhi, please speak. Asangaha, who have no association with the material world. Jadavat, appearing like a deaf and dumb man. Niguda, completely hidden. Vijnana viryaha, who have full knowledge of the spiritual science and are thus very powerful. Vicharasi, you are moving. Aparaha, who possesses unlimited spiritual glories. Vachamsi, the words uttered by you. Yoga grahitani, bearing the complete meaning of the mystic yoga. Sadho, O great saintly person. Na, not, naha, of us. Shamante, are able. Manasa api, even by mind. Bettum, to understand by analytical study. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. My dear sir, it appears that the influence of your great spiritual knowledge is hidden. Factually, you are bereft of all material association and fully absorbed in the thought of the Supreme. Consequently, you are unlimitedly advanced in spiritual knowledge. Please tell me why you are wandering around like a dullard. O great saintly person, you have spoken words approved by the yogic process, but it is not possible for us to understand what you have said. Therefore, kindly explain it. Purport. Saintly people like Jada Bharat do not speak ordinary words. Whatever they say is approved by great yogis and those advanced in spiritual life. That is the difference between ordinary people and saintly people. The listeners must also be advanced to understand the words of such exalted spiritually advanced people as Jada Bharat. Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, not to others. Lord Krishna especially selected Arjuna for instruction in spiritual knowledge because Arjuna happened to be a great devotee and confidential friend. Similarly, great personalities also speak to the advanced and not Shudras, Vaishyas, women, or unintelligent men. Sometimes it is very risky to give great philosophical instructions to ordinary people. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the benefit of the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, has given us a very nice instrument, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The general mass of people, although Shudras and less, can be purified by chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. Then they can understand the exalted philosophical statements of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Our Krishna consciousness movement has therefore adopted the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for the general masses. When people gradually become purified, they are instructed in the lessons of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Materialistic people like Stri, Shudra and Dvijabandhu cannot understand words of spiritual advancement, yet one can take to the shelter of a Vaishnava, for he knows the art of enlightening even Shudras in highly elevated subject matter spoken in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this section, 2-3 shlokas, which I have not present here. Like where Maharaj Raghugana, he actually offers insulting words and sarcastic words to like Jada Bharat, and then so then finally like the king is actually responding back saying that no, you have offered all this the Jada Bharat actually responding back saying that you have offered all this sarcastic comments, but in truth, yeah, like no, there are some things which I can accept and some things which I cannot accept. So philosophically, so he just puts it forward, and then he just continues to carry the palanquin. So there is nice shloka is there, which is in the 14th one. O Maharaj Parikshit, when King Raghugana chastised the exalted Jada Bharat, with harsh words, that peaceful saintly person tolerated it all and replied properly. Niscience is due to the bodily conception, and Jada Bharat was not affected by this false conception. Out of his natural humility, he never considered himself a great devotee, and he agreed to suffer the results of his past karma. Like an ordinary man, he thought that by carrying the palanquin, he was destroying the reactions of his past misdeeds. Thinking in this way, he began to carry the palanquin as before. Very amazing this one, that though Jada Bharat, responded back and clarified philosophically, so the statements of King Rahugana. So, but then the key point to be understood or noted here is that he was not affected by, So there is a response after being affected, and a response just for the clarification. So both these things have a lot of difference. So if we are affected, so then what we will speak will be based on our emotional state. But then if we are not affected, so then it can come from a good platform of knowledge. So, and the purport also is very nice of this. An exalted devotee of the Lord never thinks that he is a Paramahamsa or a liberated person. He always remains a humble servant of the Lord. In all reverse conditions, he agrees to suffer the results of his past life. So this is one very important, qualification for a person going back to Godhead. So he agrees to suffer. He never questions I've already destroyed all the sufferings. All the karma is destroyed. So why suffering now? So but then he agrees to suffer. And then he never accuses the Lord of putting him into the distress condition. So never the Lord is pointed fingers at. And so these are signs of exalted devotee. Tattenukampam susamikshamana. When suffering reversed conditions, the devotee always considers that the reverse condition are the Lord's concessions. He is never angry with his master. He is always satisfied with the position his master offers. In any case, he continues performing his duty in devotional service. Such a person is guaranteed promotion back to Godhead, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-8. Tatenukampam susamikshamano bunjana eva atmakritam vipakam hridvag vapurvir vidadan namaste jivet yo mukti pade savtaya bhag. So, my dear Lord, one who constantly waits for your causeless mercy to be bestowed upon him, and who goes on suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, offering you respectful obeisances from the core of his heart, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So here one important aspect is during the difficult times, when difficult situations may come, so few important things that we can see, great personalities perform. So what is that? So they constantly avoid the causeless mercy of the Lord. So good times are yet to come. So so we will have nice association of the Lord. We will have awaiting that opportunity to have the intimate service of the Lord. So and at the same time, so he is agreeing to suffer the reactions, and then this namaste, how to understand this namaste, from his body, mind and words, he actually offers hrid, vag, and vapu. So from his heart, and then his words, and then his body. So he is actually offering obeisances. So offering obeisances doesn't just mean offering obeisances. It means all the angas of bhakti. So he doesn't deviate from executing his devotional service. So he continues to execute his devotional service, and then he agrees to suffer. And then the third thing is having intense faith on the mercy of the Lord. So these aspects actually signifies so that the saintly person is in the royal path back to Godhead. So and then we see that next this one's so Maharaj, Rahugana's state is also mentioned. So he is also not an ordinary person. So as it is mentioned in today's purport, so great people don't speak ordinary words, and then great people doesn't speak to ordinary people also. So so they there must be some qualification, for them to understand great subject matter. So here Raghugana is mentioned, he had faith in discussions of the absolute truth. Being thus qualified, he heard from Jada Bharat the philosophical presentation which is approved by all scriptures on mystic yoga process, and which slackens the knot in the heart. His material conception of himself as a king was thus destroyed. He immediately descended from his palanquin and fell flat on the ground with his head at the lotus feet of Jada Bharat, in such a way that he might be excused of his insulting words against the great Brahmana. He then prayed as follows. So here we see that Jada Bharat, he could immediately able to understand the at least at the at a initial level, that it's a great philosophical this one, and it is not an ordinary person. So otherwise, others will say like, no, hey, don't talk all this big philosophy, just chup karke palanquin leke jao. So, but then he could able to understand the words that is presented are not ordinary, and then he immediately prostrated himself. And also it is nice, he prostrated himself in such a way that he might be excused. So not that, sometimes people play, of catching the feet, which sometimes annoys the other person. So already naraz tha, like, aur do char curse dal denge. So then it is not very good, So like one should adopt a really humble position and then, beg for forgiveness. So then it will be, it should melt the heart of the other person. The whole point is it should melt the heart of other person. It should not annoy him, like that. So, and then Raghugana said, this is also very amazing, this one, that, oh Brahmana, you appear to be moving in this world very much covered and unknown to others. Who you are a very learned Brahmana and a saintly person. I see that you are wearing a sacred thread. Are you one of those exalted, liberated saints such as Dattatreya or and other highly advanced learned scholars? May I ask you whose disciple you are, and where do you live? Why you have come to this place? And things like that. And then I think the next to this one is quite amazing. Yeah. So he's mentioning about that. No, I'm not afraid of any big person or anybody who's very powerful who can actually be of insurmountable opposition for me, but only I fear offending a Brahmana. That is what is my fear. So why is this fear? This fear is there because, so to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, so offense at the lotus feet of a Brahmana becomes a problem. So like a person who is fully fixed in absolute truth, he only will feel like this. So on the contrary, we see Hiranyakashipu and all these personalities. So for them, they would take Brahmanas as their lunch dinner. So they would not know so much afraid. So they would be mercilessly oppressing the Brahmanas and things like that. So but here, he is very much afraid of offending a Brahmana, because his goal is very, very clear. He wants to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, and this would be a great a great obstacle in the path actually. So then this becomes a important thing. So in today's shloka, it's very nice, this one. It appears that the influence of your great spiritual knowledge is hidden, and factually you are bereft of all material association and fully absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme. So these are all some of the things that king could observe. So how can it is, as we have seen in the purport also, it takes a great personality to understand another great personality. So ordinary persons cannot understand great personality. So how is he able to make statements he is fully absorbed in the thoughts of Supreme? So it is not that some flattery or some this one that he is offering. So he is able to see that these people, they know the symptoms. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri, so he saw Jagannath, and then he he became unconscious, and then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he took him to his home. And then though Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was not a great Vaishnava, so he was a Mayavadi scholar, so but he knew from the scriptures what are the symptoms of a great person. and he could able to see the symptoms of a great person in him. So in that way, like, these are all educated people, educated in the Vedic science, and they know the symptoms of a great person, like they can actually understand. So though they may not be of that very greatly advanced, but still, they can actually identify a great person, and that's what is happening here. And he is able to see that even the spillover knowledge, that has come. So it is not like this knowledge anybody can give, anybody can speak. So, but some things that are very notable is that he is not agitated when provoking situations, when provoking words were spoken. And he just continued, and he was not afraid also of the king. So nobody would speak, like this to the king, like how the way, like he answered back. It requires a great deal of courage, because anything you speak against the king, your head will be chopped off. So, people would not just like that give back. And then he was very peaceful. He was not at all agitated. So this was, this is something like, we can see that Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita in many places. So sama dukkha sukha kshami and things like that. So in many places, he actually mentions that not wavered, in the presence of happiness or distress, or in the presence of provoking situations. So this actually makes the sign of a knowledgeable person. So a person who is little advanced in the transcendental knowledge. So now, seeing that, King Rahugana could able to identify, here is a great person, and his knowledge is hidden. So how, he identifies himself to be a knowledgeable person, identify Jadabharat as a knowledgeable person because of the symptom. One of the symptoms that we discussed is he is not provoked, and he is bold, and he is able to present the factual subject matter, and that subject matter also is in relation to the absolute truth, and he's peacefully continuing to execute the service. So it's quite a quite a solid statement of the person's being in great knowledge. So, and factually you are bereft of all material association, and you are fully absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme. So he could able to deduce from the statements and from the state of composure that he is actually having. So both these things put together, he could able to identify, here is a great person, and he is knowledgeable person. His transcendental knowledge is quite high. And consequently, you are unlimitedly advanced in spiritual knowledge. Please tell me why you are wandering around like a dullard. So, being such a knowledgeable person, but then you're not showing of this knowledge, or you're not even keeping a mutt and having disciples and things like that. So, why are you wandering like this? No, I'm not able to understand. And then, great saintly person, you have spoken words approved by yogic process. This is also another symptom, which he is able to see. The previous symptoms are, so he was not provoked, he was peaceful, and then he is continuing to execute the service. And now we see that the words that he has spoken, it's in line with the Vedic process, Vedic scriptures. So this is also something, if a person is educated in the Vedic science, then only he can actually understand this. So king is very nicely educated, and then he could able to see the words this person has spoken is completely in line, as it is, from the Vedic scriptures. So he is speaking from Bhagavad Gita as it is. So, and he could able to see that presentation of philosophy in line with the scriptures. That's quite amazing. So, but it is not possible for us to understand what you have said. Therefore, kindly explain it. So, he is telling that it is in line with the Vedic scriptures. So that much he is able to understand. And then he is telling that I am not able to understand. It's the contrary है ना? क्यों ऐसा बोल रहा है? ऐसा humility दिखाने के लिए बोल रहा है ना? What is the thing? In purport also Prabhupada says, great people doesn't speak ordinary words. And great people doesn't speak to other ordinary people. So great people speak to great people only. And if great people keep speaking to great people only, how will ordinary people get benefited? That is a problem, And here also we see that King Rahugana is not an ordinary person. So, and then he understood the words of Jadabharat. And then he is telling, I am not understood. So how to reconcile this?
He's in Varnashrama, he's a Grihastha and a Kshatriya.
Mm-hmm.
And he's understanding that he's a saintly person in the renounced order. He's taking a lower position.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe out of etiquette.
Etiquette is there, definitely. Anything else?
जो ग्रेट को फॉलो करते हैं वही सभी जो नीचे वाले हैं वो उनको फॉलो करते हैं वो भी कर सकते हैं
Great people.
मतलब जो बड़े लोग हैं जो फॉलो करते हैं जो नीचे है उनको
हाँ, तो एग्जाम्पल सेट करने के लिए ठीक है. तो जस्ट टू सेट एन एग्जाम्पल ही मे बी डूइंग. एनीथिंग एल्स?
He would have read the scriptures and able to understand the symptoms
Hmm.
of a great saintly person and is able to identify as a great person. But whatever is speaking, that may not be just by hearing, he may not be able to realize.
Mm-hmm.
That's why meaning.
Yeah, realization, it requires little more. So this is a very important point to understand. Like, see, if a person has entered into college, so that means he has got a lot of qualification. And from that qualification, he can reach to a little more better qualification, right? So there is a requirement of qualification. No, there is a band. No, a person of very great caliber, no, he can speak to another great person, no, to bring him to that level, right? So that is, no, here is something of that sort is there. King, like though he is like educated and he has some experience of transcendental knowledge, no, he must also have been no, advanced, quite nicely advanced in transcendental knowledge. And here he is seeing another person like who is still more advanced, and he is taking his association, right? So he is trying to understand. And it's always like it's quite difficult to understand the revelations of a transcendental person, or for that matter revelation of the scriptures. It's quite difficult to understand because it requires transcendental knowledge to understand. And the knowledge, right from Shraddha to Prema, so it is the transcendental knowledge is increasing to us. And a person in the stage of Shraddha, he may see something and he may understand, based on his knowledge, he may understand certain things. And a person in Nishtha, he may understand, like he may see the very same thing and know what he can understand is completely different. And a person in the Bhava and Prema, they see completely different. So, but it's all based on the knowledge, how much knowledge that they are getting, right? So the standard example that we always give is like when we see, through the window, like in the night, when we see everything is dark, we are seeing the very same object, so but then everything is dark. So when the sun rays come, so we get black and white picture, and then like little bit rays when it comes, and then little more rays, so some color picture comes, and full sun comes, HD picture comes, So all of like through all these things, we are actually seeing the same scenario. So but then like what is the difference that is there with more and more light? So more light is there, the picture is different. So more the transcendental knowledge, the more the perception is different, right? So and a person who is seeing pitch dark and another person is seeing with light, he will be saying like, no, there is a nice tree is there, this is there. Arey kya dikh raha tumko, like sab kala kala hi dikh raha. So a person with less transcendental knowledge, he will not be able to understand only like, what is being described, So, and a person with little bit of transcendental knowledge, he will see that, okay, he is telling some kind of images, like the images match, but then the color doesn't match. मैं तो black दिख रहा हूँ, मैं देख रहा हूँ, वो तो color दिख रहा है उसका. So like, he will not be able to understand still. Like, there is still more things that needs to be understood. And a person of very high advancement, so when he sees something and he explains something, so it has, even a person of little less transcendental knowledge, for him also, it is difficult to understand. So what he is speaking, it is difficult to understand. So in this way, like we see that there are different gradations and different levels of knowledge that is there. And for revelation of a higher knowledge, at least you should have come to some level of knowledge. That is when you will be able to gain higher knowledge. And this is something that we have commonly seen in our own schooling. LKG student को 5th class में लेके जाके बिठाएंगे तो वो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. So and then like this, if the parent says like no, बच्चे को कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, अरे इसको क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं है, क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं है इसके लिए तो स्कूल में लेके आया नो तो सो फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड टीचर में से लाइक ना इसको क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं है ये कैसे समझेगा, अरे क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं है इसके लिए तो स्कूल में लेके आया, तुम पढ़ाओ अरे ये फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड है इसको लेके जाओ लाइक नो LKG में लेके जाके एडमिशन करो उसको तो उधर आने के लिए क्वालिफिकेशन चाहिए and then further qualification will be given, you know, so like that. So this is also something like that, that to understand a saintly person qualification is needed, to understand the subject matter is like transcendental, no, to understand that also qualification is needed. After that, if we indulge in the transcendental knowledge, we will gain further, qualification, so that we can go forward, right? So saintly people like Jada Bharat do not speak ordinary words, and whatever they say is approved by great yogis and those advanced in spiritual life. So what is this special words? Like the qualification is given, it is approved, by great yogis and people advanced in spiritual life. In this particular shloka, it is mentioned as yoga grihitani. So that means like being completely bearing the complete meaning of mystic yoga. Yoga means like also we studied in this one Bhakti Vaibhav sessions. Whenever this point yoga comes, it talks about the devotional service. Like it talks about the bhakti towards the Supreme Lord, because that is the that is the only process of linking towards the Supreme Lord. And then this process in a diluted form can be called as a karma yoga. In another form of dilution, it can be called as a jnana yoga. Another form of dilution, it can be called as ashtanga yoga. Undiluted thing is called yoga. Like that. So this is or bhakti yoga, sometimes. So like in this way, we see that this yoga grihitani or sammatam and things like that, these kind of words are used to show that it is in line with the scriptural conclusions. And when it is in line with scriptural conclusions, then they are called as special words. They are not ordinary words. So a preacher also should not speak ordinary words. He should speak those words which are the conclusions of the scriptures, or the words that are spoken by great persons who understood the conclusion of the scriptures. So then it is not ordinary words and no transcendental words, and that transcendental words can create revolution in the hearts of impious people, right? So, or even it will create a revolution in the hearts of pious people also. So the listeners must also be advanced to understand the words of such exalted, spiritually advanced people as Jada Bharat, right? So without sufficient advancement, they will say like, no, ये तो बकवास कर रहा है, कुछ practical बातें बोलो, so, and things like that. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna and not to any others. Lord Krishna especially selected Arjuna for instruction in spiritual knowledge because Arjuna happened to be a great devotee and confidential friend, right? So like, what is these two things? Bhakto Simi Sakha Cheti, right? So like for this, Srila Prabhupada actually in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, he gives explanation that one must be a devotee of the Lord, otherwise there is no question of understanding the Lord, and one must have some connection, some relationship with the Lord, right? So like, we understand the relationships are quite advanced. We understand our relationship only in Bhava stage, and to start the devotional service, we are expected to have some relationship with the Lord. तो फिर कैसा कौन सा relationship रखें? तो servant also it requires some qualification.
Non-envious is what is told when it comes to. That is a basic thing.
Non-envious. Being a devotee, is synonymous to non-envious, because if you're envious, then we are not devotee of the Lord. So, like this servant, we need to be a servant, and that is allowed, rasa to be exchanged, with the Lord in the beginning. So servant means like, with lot of awe and reverence, with lot of respect, the servant has to behave. So we should not come into the bhava and like, what is that? मेरा कानों का अभी मैं खिलाऊंगा, मैं जब खिलाऊंगा तब खाएंगे, and things like that and all. So like those kind of things and all is not approved. So that can be done, after bhava and prema, that can be done. So but if it naturally that bhava actually is there. So otherwise it's called as sahajiya, and then it is actually offensive, to the process of devotional service, and one may fall, from the path of devotional service, when somebody is in that kind of this one. So, like, the servitude is an approved, relationship that a devotee can have. So, one must have relation and one must be a devotee. These two things are very essential. So, devotee of the Lord means for the pleasure of the Lord, doing things for the pleasure of the Lord. And second is relationship is the devotion can only be performed in a relationship, and that relationship is servitude. So, and further later on, if some other relationship is there, that will be revealed to us later point in time. And Lord Krishna especially selected Arjuna because he's Bhaktasi me sekha cheti. And similarly, great personalities also speak to the advanced and not to the Shudras, Vaishyas, women or unintelligent men. Sometimes it is very risky to give great philosophical instructions to ordinary people. So, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the benefit of the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, has given us a very nice instrument, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So this is something that needs to be profusely distributed. Books and Harinam and Mahaprasad. So like in our Bhakti Shastri sessions, we had this clarity that Prabhuji was nicely mentioning that these three things, Prabhupada made outreach means these three things: Harinam, books and prasadam. So these three things are profusely to be distributed, and when it is distributed, it creates sukruti. And it's nicely, this progression is mentioned in this purport, right? So, and the general mass of people, although Shudras and less, can be purified by the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Then they can understand the exalted philosophical statements of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So this is very essential. Like even in the interaction of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Gopinath Acharya, so the whole, this one is like, first with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could not able to accept, this is Supreme Personality of Godhead or this one. So he could able to come to this one, he may be some exalted saint. So then Gopinath Acharya is like trying and breaking his head like anything. Finally he come to the conclusion that Banjar Bhumi mein jitna bhi beej ugayenge, kuch nahi aayega ped. So in that same way, like he was telling that tumko kuch samajh mein nahi aayega, tumhara kuch sukriti nahi. So then after that, he spent time with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 7 days, instructing him on this one. You such an young age, you have taken sannyas. How will you maintain sannyas? Your senses are like so active, and with this active senses, how will you be able to maintain sannyas? It is not possible. You will definitely fall down. I have to instruct you on the transcendental knowledge. Agar aapko knowledge nahi mila, so definitely you will fall down. And and it's a true thing. It's like, but he didn't know that he is the sum total of all the knowledge. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the sum total of all knowledge. He could not able to understand that. So he was trying to give him knowledge, give him the transcendental knowledge. So that's the same transcendental knowledge is common for all the yoga process, be it Mayavadi, be it Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi or Bhakti Yogi, whatever may be the yoga system, whatever may be the path, the transcendental knowledge is the same. So what is the first symptom of transcendental knowledge? Being detached from the fruits of action. And second symptom is like being detached from any material activity. And third symptom is like Brahman realization, and then Paramatma realization and Bhagavan realization, like that. These are the milestones in the path of transcendental knowledge. And any path we may take, be it Mayavad path or be it this one Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, whatever it is, they have to cross these paths. Without that, they will not be able to get to the higher levels. This is the same road. So only that people are going to different destinations in the same road. So Bhakti Yoga, when it is practiced, we can go to the furthest destination. So which the other yoga systems cannot take us to. So in this way, he was trying to give transcendental knowledge. So but then in the process he gained transcendental knowledge, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he could able to understand. And finally Mahaprabhu told, see, because he was he had the association of Gopinath Acharya, a very nice Vaishnava, and because of that he could able to get some sukruti. And of course, he was associating with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he was getting sukruti, and then finally at one point in time he could able to understand. So initially he was not able to understand. So this is very important that when people of good qualification are there, so we see some signs of transcendental knowledge being manifest, so then we can cultivate them and take them further. So but like some of the signs that we can see is, they are respectful to the devotees, they like to hear, and this is something which Prabhupada also mentions. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur noted in Prabhupada, he likes to hear, that's a symptom of transcendental knowledge. And then they like to, the statements of Bhagavad Gita, make some sense to them and things like that. They are able to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these kind of things are all some symptoms. So when these symptoms are there, then we spend some further time with them. We educate them further. So if we are not able to see these symptoms, then no problem. Achhe se prasad khao, agli janmashtami aao. And otherwise, better luck next lifetime. So how much Sukruti we can give and send them. So then we'll see later. Kidhar jayega, So within the what is the jurisdiction of Mahavishnu, he'll be roaming around somewhere. And Mahavishnu knows that this guy has got some Sukruti. He'll send some other devotee also. Kyun itna tension hai? No, why to take tension that I am the person who is going to liberate him? No. The Lord is liberating, and now we saw when we meet a person, okay, what is my job description? So I have to help this soul, help this conditioned soul. How to help? So we should check the scripture. Okay, iska Sukruti itna hi hai, थोड़ा और डिपॉजिट करके चले जाओ. ज़्यादा कुछ टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना है उसके साथ. एंड इफ हिज सुकृति इज लिटिल मोर एंड सुनने का इच्छा है एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, ओके, देन मेक हिम सिट, गिव हिम गीता कोर्स, दिस दैट एंड कल्टिवेट हिम. So like that. So we need to have this one, that we should not become so much stereotyped in this one of preaching. We should see what soul is actually coming and what is his qualification, and if this qualification, what we are supposed to do. So we should consult the scriptures. And Prabhupada gives a very, very clear picture that we spend time in terms of giving the holy name. So in this particular purport he is mentioning that, but when we take the teachings of Srila Prabhupada as a whole, we can understand that distributing of prasadam and distributing of books, so these things are also very good for the common people. When they come in contact with these things, so they develop Sukruti. And when they develop Sukruti, and sufficient Sukruti is developed, then we can actually take. We don't need to be a soul, somehow or other he came in touch with a pure devotee. And if he goes off, what will happen to him? Nothing will happen. Lord is in perfect control. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani maya. He knows where which soul is going, and he has got perfect control of everything. So jungle mein bhi jayega, like Dhruva Maharaj. He can send spiritual master there also. We don't need to be in so much tension. And first misconception is I am a pure devotee, I can liberate. Second misconception is only I can liberate. And so first of all I have to be liberated. That is the biggest this one. So in this way, we see that these things we should apply in the right place. And our Krishna consciousness movement has therefore adopted the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the general masses. So when we go out and distribute, so it has lot of value. It adds Sukruti to lives of people, and then a bigger equation is running. We know only our follow-up sheet. We don't know the Lord's follow-up sheet. How he is following. We don't know. He has a bigger sheet. And in that sheet, no contact is missed. All contact of every living entity, all possible living entities are there in that contact. Those contacts which has gone back to the spiritual world, and those contacts which are there here, and those contacts which are not yet attended. So everybody are there, and he is perfectly managing. No soul gets missing in that contact list. So like that. So in that, some contacts he assigns to us, only that we manage. Rest of the contacts we say we send to the master list and it gets managed there. So when people generally gradually become purified, they are instructed in the lessons of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Materialistic people like Sri, Sudra and Dvijabandhu cannot understand the words of spiritual advancement, and yet one can take shelter of a Vaishnava. For he knows the art of enlightening even Shudras in the highly elevated subject matter spoken in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It doesn't matter whether anybody is in Sti, Shudra, Dvija, Bandhu, whoever it may be. No, but if they agree to surrender to a Vaishnava, and then if they are sincerely following the path and developing the transcendental knowledge, it doesn't matter who they are, based on how they perform. So the knowledge can further be revealed to them. So with this I pause. Any questions, comments you can take.
Nice class. The last one, the follow-up sheet. I made a note. Here, this point, which is mentioned in the translation, that he was fully absorbed in the thought of the Supreme. I was trying to trace it in the shloka and also in the previous shlokas. So it doesn't seem like, because he has still been speaking about only body and soul. And nowhere is spoken anything about the Lord as such. And the
Being
shloka
attached.
also, there are no words which talks about it. Prabhupada is mentioning this. So is it that just by his symptoms we are deriving it and saying that he is
Yeah,
the Lord?
Lord, it may be personal or it may not be personal. Still, that is not revealed. Supreme can be absolute truth. No, definitely advancement of knowledge means he is absorbed in the knowledge, means like absolute truth, either Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. So he is absorbed in one of these things, and that is how he is able to reveal this symptom. His personality is not mentioned here still, so we can see that he is absorbed in any one of these things. That is how he is able to exhibit that symptom.
Another question.
So this body and soul difference, like we may speak about, but then practically to demonstrate, absorption in one of these three things is needed. Without that, it's not possible.
The person has to be realized to come to that platform.
And not being affected, during reversals and things like that. It requires a lot of transcendental knowledge. Otherwise, it's not possible.
We're talking about the follow-up sheet that you spoke. So it gives a lot of peace for a preacher if this concept is there. But still, a preacher is expected to hold the contacts back in Krishna consciousness. So if someone is going, then we can just leave saying, okay, Lord will take care. And how to understand this?
Yeah, so this is like when somebody has already shown the symptom of he can listen and he has faith in Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and things like that. Further, we could have did some things to him. So as a servant, we should try our best to do that. And see, always the detachment, and this one, with the detachment we should perform. So then how do we actually put it, saying we should be attached to the boys who are coming, and they should advance and things like that. So at the same time, detachment is also needed. So detachment means, I don't know the plan of the Lord for this soul. Maybe this soul has negotiated something with the Lord, and then he wants a little sense gratification, and after that he'll come back. We never know what he is actually up to. So but then a preacher should feel bad for it. But at the same time, he should also have detachment. If he doesn't have detachment, he'll get into depression. So feeling bad that that means I could have done a little more better service. That is one part of the feeling. Another part of the feeling is Lord knows best for him. He is definitely under the shelter of the Lord. So like that. So in that way, so that balances the emotion of this one. So this is not because he could have done something better. It's out of humility, that I did not do a good service, to the Lord. So I should have done a little more better service to the Lord, like that. So that is always to find fault in oneself is very good, for advancement in Krishna consciousness. So in that way, he actually tries to do that. It's not out of attachment. Ye mera bacha hai, chala gaya. So not like that. So it was my service. I could not do it properly, like that. So in that way, he feels for that. And also he feels for the living entity that he has got some nice opportunity to associate with devotees and associate with the holy name and this one. So but then he has given up. So that is a painful thing. He could have been with the Lord. He could have rendered nice service, and in that way he could have been more happier in the service of the Lord. So but then he left. So that gives also the pain to this one. So but not the attachment not in the sense that he is mine. No, he is Krishna's and in care of, temporarily in care of me. So that is one thing which I very much appreciated in the beginning days of my Krishna consciousness. My counselor, he was telling that, no, I could train you to some extent. So now this is how much I can do. So now you can choose somebody more capable, to take further guidance. That was like very this one. So I could able to see that he was completely detached, and at the same time wishing, great this one for me, and at the same time like completely detached. So I could see both attachment and detachment in this one. So that was very very much touching, and that gave a lot of inspiration, for practicing Krishna consciousness nicely. So these two things are very essential actually in that.
So if Sukriti is not, it is not possible only for the living entity to progress.
Yeah. See, progression means as it is, we took the example of schooling, if, until unless you pass the first standard, there is no possibility of getting admission in second standard, So, like it goes like this, if you follow the first step, you will get some knowledge, and with that knowledge, you become eligible to get further knowledge, and with that knowledge, you get eligible to get further knowledge, right? Like that. So if the basic knowledge only is not there, so the endeavor should be done to get the basic knowledge. So not the endeavor to get a higher knowledge is of no use, because for that you require this, like that. Any other questions?
So this one more lesson probably from this can be done, like he was asking questions to Ravana even though he had some little understanding. So whenever some spiritually elevated person is there, so even though we may have some understanding, but to get a more clarity on the topic, we should ask.
Yeah, that can be made, and we have examples of that things are also there in the scriptures. So, but one more better way is that we should be a sincere seeker in the process of Krishna consciousness. So when we try to understand the absolute truth more and more, so then naturally the absolute truth is much more than what we understand, or much more than what we can see through our current level of transcendental knowledge. So definitely we'll have a lot of questions, and how to take the next step, how to perform the next stage of Krishna consciousness, how to advance from the stage to the next stage. So if we are sincerely seeking out, for that advancement, we will have a lot of questions, in terms of how to make that further advancement. So we doesn't need to be like only just for the sake of asking question. We don't need to ask. Like we can, like if we are sincerely seeking, we will naturally have a lot of questions. Yeah. So it's like you have what is it? A traveling path. You don't have a Google map, you assume. And there are many roads that are going on. So naturally at every junction you will have a lot of questions, that which route to take, how to take that, and things like that. So those, sometimes flyovers are there, and you have to go underneath and take a U-turn, things like that and all. So it requires, every time it requires a lot of clarity, to traverse the path of Krishna consciousness. So we will have a lot of questions, that comes up, when the practice is sincere, we'll have those things. And sometimes, we may not have the doubts. So, but then we definitely know that. So what I've understood this one, I feel I have understood, but then there is much more depth to it, because definitely with my transcendental knowledge, what I've gained, so I'm able to understand only this much. So maybe an advanced devotee can throw much more light into it, right? So in that way also we can ask, right? So my understanding is limited, so maybe I'll get better understanding by asking this question, right? So I'm satisfied with my understanding, but still there can be a better understanding also, like that. Okay. So we have 2 more minutes. Anybody wants to share some points? Yes.
Very nice. You have given an example that in the room, like when the light is exposed, to the extent it is exposed, to that extent we can see the things. Similarly, to the extent we are exposed to this transcendental knowledge, and to that extent our perspective will also change.
Hmm.
And our perspective towards bhakti, towards Krishna, the Lord, towards the seva, towards everything in relation to Krishna consciousness, that perspective will change to the extent that we get the knowledge. So this point.
Yes. So this is also the same, this one of like why devotees, when they read the same Bhagavad Gita again and again, why they get deeper and deeper meaning? Because under say like the knowledge is increasing. So the light is increasing. When the light is increasing, the same picture, we are expected to see the same picture, but then from pitch dark to HD quality, no variations are there. So, and when we see the same picture again and again, we get different picture. Why we get different picture? Because the light is increasing. So in the same way, when the knowledge increases, so then the subject matter actually reveals more. So because it is Krishna himself, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. As we like develop in our transcendental knowledge, to that extent we will get the darshan of Krishna in different way. Like that. ठीक है, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.